Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. The Polish Teachers' Union, or ZNP, is demanding a high pay raise for teachers or face union strike. The leader of the association, Sławomir Broniarz, threatened that students might not get to go to another class if the union demands will not be met. Uproar caused among high school students and their parents forced Mr. Broniarz to retract the claim and apologize.
The strike during the exams is not all, says the president of the Polish Teachers' Union, Sławomir Broniarz, and threatens that children won't be able to pass to next classes. The teachers and the pedagogical councils are responsible for assessing and promoting students. It's a powerful tool in the teachers' hands, and we want the government to be aware of that. If I decide to use that tool, we will have a true catastrophe concerning recruitment or finishing educational cycles by the Polish students.
Wypowiedź pana przewodniczącego Broniarza.
Mr. Broniarz's words sound very desperate.
To jest po prostu branie
It's like taking the students hostage.
jako zakładników w tym sporze.
Sławomir Broniarz doesn't want to meet with the Minister of Education, but demands to see the Prime Minister. The Ministry of National Education released a statement yesterday in which the institution condemned Broniarz's words and called them irresponsible. Once again, we stress that teachers should be earning more. We appreciate their work and already gave some of the promised pay raises. The next ones are planned for September 2019. In total, in the next 17 months, teachers will be getting 16.1% raise. It's not the end of our work to raise their salaries.
Trzeba też przyznać, że
We should remember that last year we raised the teachers' salaries by 5.75%, this year in January by another 5%, and we are planning to raise them by yet another 5% in September next year. That's more than 16% in 1.5 years. Even in economy, there weren't raises like that.
na przykład podatek dochodowy.
The main postulate of the Polish Teachers' Union is the raising of the basic teachers' salaries by 1,000 zloty. Most of the teachers' salaries are 180% more than that. Average teacher's salaries for intern teacher 100%, full-time teacher 111%, appointed teacher 144%, certified teacher 184% of the basic salary set for teachers annually in the budget bill. The teachers' strike is to take place on April 8th. Teachers participating in the strike won't come to work. On April 10th, the junior high exams are to take place. On April 15th, the 8th grade primary school exams, and on May 6th, the Matura high school exams.
Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, gave a speech at St. Peter's Square today, mentioning the terrorist attack in Christchurch, New Zealand, where a couple dozen Muslims were shot. Pope Francis expressed his deepest regret and asked for prayers for the victims.
In these days, added to the pain over wars and conflicts that do not cease to afflict humanity, there were additional grief inflicted upon the victims of the horrible attack against 2 mosques in Christchurch in New Zealand. I pray for the dead, the injured and their families. I am close to our Muslim brothers and to all that community, and I renew an invitation to join in prayer and gestures of peace to combat hate and violence. Let's pray together in silence for our Muslim brothers who have been killed.
The Polish ambassador to Israel, Marek Magierowski, stated in an interview to the Israel news outlet iNews24 that the years-long foreign media portrayal of Poland as a collaborator of Germany in World War II and the Holocaust has forced Polish politicians to react in form of possible legislative actions.
Ambassador Marek Magierowski is very active across Israeli news outlets, this time appearing on iNews24, a Spanish-language newscast. When asked about the relations between Poland and Israel, he reminded the audience that before World War II, Poland was home to one of the world's largest Jewish communities, which was almost wiped out by the Nazi Germany. However, for many years, foreign media have shown Poland as a collaborator of Germany during World War II and the Holocaust, and it has finally forced the politicians' reaction, said the Polish ambassador to Israel. The idea was to create a law that would help fight such a narrative in a more effective way. I have the impression that this law has been misunderstood. People were convinced that this law would prevent an open discussion on the Holocaust and that Holocaust survivors who visit Poland won't be able to tell their story. It is an absurd. It was not the intention of the law, claims Magierowski. The Polish deputy in Tel Aviv explained that the narrative of the co-responsibility of Poland and Germany is very painful from the point of view of the Polish society. He also referred to the statement of Israel Minister of Foreign Affairs, describing it as evidently racist. I called after my prime minister in saying that we sincerely hope that Israeli politicians and the most important leaders of the Hebrew state will be able to react to such declarations. Adds the ambassador. We await the Israel authorities to take action in this matter, said Ambassador of Poland.
Zuzana Chaputova won the first round of presidential elections in Slovakia. As informed by the Slovak Statistical Office, Chaputova received 40.55% support, while the runner-up, Maroš Šefčovič, managed to secure 18.67% of the popular vote. The pair will face off in the second round of elections.
What I can see from the results of the first term is a call for changes. Slovak voters can imagine a candidate who has not been involved in politics for a long time, but one who brings a new point of view on today's reality and different opinions regarding solving the problems.
Overall turnout in yesterday's elections was 48.74%. The second round of presidential elections in Slovakia is scheduled for March 30th. Commentators point the attention to the results of the candidates who came in third and fourth place. Supreme Court judge and its former president, Štefan Harabin, managed to secure 14.35% of the votes, while the leader of the anti-European and anti-immigration People's Party, Our Slovakia, Marian Kotleba, 10.41% of the votes.
The Polish F1 driver Robert Kubica is back on track. 8 years after the life-threatening crash that almost took his left arm, Kubica competed in an F1 race on equal footing with other drivers. His compatriot admired the 34-year-old driver for his courage and perseverance that enabled him to return to the top of the motorsport scene.
It was the first race after a long absence, and it would be a stretch to call it a success. In fact, Robert Kubica arrived last at the finish line and 3 laps behind the winner, Valery Bottas. Yet no one puts the blame on the Polish driver for poor performance, as the Red Bull's contracted driver Pierre Gasly collided with his car during the course, and fixing the front wing cost the Polish driver a minute of race time, resulting in his last position. After the race, Robert Kubica said, "It was my first standing start after 8 years and 4 months. I had never done a standing start on the grid since Abu Dhabi 2010, and actually it was quite good. But overall, I am leaving Australia with definitely more experience and reasonably happy, although I will never think I would say something like this, having this pace and finishing so far behind." With a full season ahead, only time will tell whether Kubica, still carrying the scars of his injuries, can hustle his way through the pack and perform his old trademark of taking performance out of his vehicle beyond its capabilities. His fans can't wait for Robert's next appearance on the racetrack on March 31st.
That's it for today. See you next time on Poland Daily. But stay tuned for the Poland Daily Weather Report, followed by the Poland Daily Business section.